YNR spoilers Thursday, April 10th revealed a tense chase for Martin that may save Tracy's life. In one of the most dramatic developments on The Young and the Restless, the Abbott family faces the biggest challenge of their lives. After nearly losing a loved one to a life filled with intrigue and danger, Jack Abbott decides to risk everything to save his sister Tracy, not only to protect his family but also to preserve what remains after the ruthless attack of the enemy. The thrilling moments, tense chases and the appearance of important characters in this battle promise to bring unpredictable shocks. However, the truth is not always easy to expose, and the fight against Lauron has only just begun. The Abbott family is in a dangerous situation. It all started when Tracy Abbott, Jack's poor sister, was being held captive by Lauron, a man with dark intentions and a dangerous personality. Tracy, in a panic, had to go through terrifying moments while being held in a tense situation. She was almost facing death, but Jack Abbott, a brave and determined brother, could not stand by and watch his loved one get hurt. Knowing that this battle was not only about Tracy but also about the survival of his family, Jack decided to do everything to save her. He did not hesitate to risk his life in a dangerous situation, not only to save Tracy but also to avenge what Alan had done to the Abbott family. With each passing second, the tension and fear increased, but Jack still resolutely entered into a merciless battle with Alan. Meanwhile, Tracy, despite being imprisoned and facing extreme fear, still kept her spirits up, trying to find ways to stay safe and not give in to the enemy. But as time went on, she realized that escape was almost impossible when Alan had prepared everything, from sophisticated traps to closely monitoring every move of the Abbott family. The extremely tense chase, the appearance of the police, but the situation changed when the police, under the command of Chance Chancellor, quickly deployed a plan to capture Alan. Through tireless efforts in gathering information and investigating, Chance had important clues leading to Alan's location. Previous investigations helped Chance collect enough evidence, from fingerprints to statements from witnesses, all pointing to Alan being the one behind everything. Chance, with his tenacious and skillful nature, coordinated with the authorities to surround the area where Alan was hiding. With everything carefully prepared, there was no escape for Alan. He was completely cornered. However, despite being surrounded, Alan was not an easy target. He knew that once he was captured, all his schemes would be exposed, and he would have to face the punishment of the law. Phyllis and Sharon. The women in the final battle in this tense situation, Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman, were not left out of the fight. These women, despite their inevitable conflicts in the past, decided to cooperate in this dire situation. Both realized that in order to protect their families and achieve justice, they needed to face Alan together. This was not just a personal relationship, it was also a fight for the survival of their family. Phyllis, with her strong and fearless nature, is not afraid to join the chase. She not only wants to save Tracy but also wants to make sure Alan pays for his crimes. Sharon, although gentler than Phyllis, is no less determined, and decides to join her in this fight. Sharon understands that only by working together can the Abbott family be saved from the clutches of the enemy. The three, Jack, Phyllis and Sharon, now form an unlikely alliance, determined to face Alan and not let him escape punishment. This fight is not only a victory of justice but also a demonstration of loyalty, love and sacrifice. Alan, cornered, and the final confrontation. Alan, who was once a ruthless and scheming man, now has no choice but to face the truth. With the police closing in and clear clues pointing to him, Alan realizes that his life is coming to an end. The dark secrets he has tried so hard to hide will be exposed to the light. Before being arrested, Alan may have a tense confrontation with Jack, where he will have to face all the things he has done. But will Alan be able to withstand the questioning of Jack and the others? Will he be able to realize his mistakes and bow to justice? Martin Lawrence Con, the final confrontation in a tense psychological battle. Martin Lauron is being pushed into a corner. The cards he has used to maintain a life of deception are slowly crumbling. His relationship with Lauron was built on secrets, but the truth cannot be hidden forever. Meanwhile, Sharon and Phyllis Summers are joining hands to unlock these dark secrets, and a tearful confrontation will take place, bringing undeniable truths. Sharon and Phyllis team up. The hunt for Martin begins. Sharon Newman, who has always been strong but also very sharp in finding the truth, cannot sit still when she discovers that Martin Lauron is behind the strange chain of events that has taken place. Phyllis Summers, with her decisive and fearless personality, immediately joins the fight. These two women, despite their differences, when united, become a force to be reckoned with. As they investigate together, they discover Martin's hideout. But rather than give him another chance to escape, Sharon and Phyllis decide to act immediately. They contact the police and quickly cordon off the area. Martin, who has already begun to feel the pinch from the questioning of those around him, realizes that he has little time to react. Tracy and the dark truth. Things get even more tense when Ashley Abbott, who has always been close to Tracy, finally confirms the truth that Tracy cannot believe. Martin Lauron, whom she thought was Alan, is the twin brother of Alan, whom Tracy once had a crush on. Feelings of betrayal and loss come flooding back, and Tracy cannot keep quiet any longer. Tracy decides to confront Martin downstairs, where the atmosphere suddenly becomes heavy. She demands that Martin admit the truth about his identity if he ever really cared about her. With a trembling but determined voice, Tracy demands an explanation for the lies Martin has told. Martin, a complex man with many dark secrets in his past, seems unable to resist his own urges. He may not be the worst, but he is certainly a very difficult person to understand. In a tense moment, Martin may confess the truth, telling how he took over Alan's life and even flirted with Tracy in his own strange way. This is the moment when Tracy will have to decide whether she can forgive this man or not. Chance and the final reveal at the same time. Chance Chancellor, who has always worked hard to ensure justice, does not leave any clues unturned. After a long investigation, Chance finally has solid evidence linking Martin Lauron to the kidnapping. Martin's fingerprints, discovered at the farm where he had been watching Sharon and Phyllis from afar, are the key to uncovering the truth. Chance, determined to bring the culprit to justice, will not allow Martin to escape punishment. Even if Martin tries to escape, with the support of Tracy, Ashley, and Jack, he will not be able to escape the siege. The police will arrive, and the crimes Martin has committed will be exposed. The final confrontation. In an episode airing on Thursday, viewers will witness the final confrontation between Martin and the key characters in the story. Tracy, determined but also heartbroken, will be the first to confront Martin, demanding that he tell the truth about what he has done. Meanwhile, Sharon and Phyllis, having played a key role in uncovering the truth, will relentlessly push the police to ensure that Martin pays. With everyone present at the scene, a final siege will take place. Martin, cornered, may make one last attempt to escape, but will not be able to escape the wrath of justice. Characters like Tracy, Ashley, and Jack will be there to ensure that he cannot get away with his crimes, and Martin Lauron will have to face the consequences of his actions. Martin Lauron's journey on The Young and the Restless is coming to an end. Every truth, no matter how bad or heartbreaking, will be revealed. Tracy will face the shock of realizing that the man she once loved was the one who cheated on her. Sharon and Phyllis will never forget the tense hours of chasing Martin, but in the end, justice will prevail. With the developments that keep increasing, the audience will not be able to take their eyes off the screen in the upcoming episode. This event is not only a major revelation, but also an important turning point, bringing the character of Martin Lauron out of the darkness and into the arms of justice. But will Tracy be able to forgive Martin and find love again? Or will the betrayal be too great for her to overcome? Only time will tell. The tension is building, with Martin Lauron, the villain who has caused so much trouble, finally coming face to face with the truth. Once again, Martin's story will revolve not only around elaborate deceptions but also confrontations with brave characters who refuse to back down from a challenge. In Thursday's episode, more secrets will be revealed, and justice is almost upon Martin. But will he be able to escape the siege of determined characters? The deep investigation. Chance and the undeniable evidence. Chance Chancellor, Genoa City's veteran investigator, finally has solid evidence in the terrifying kidnapping case that Martin Lauron is the mastermind behind. After weeks of investigation, Chance finds a crucial piece of evidence, Martin's fingerprints, which match the fingerprints found at the farm where he had been watching Sharon and Phyllis from afar. This is a crucial turning point in the investigation, helping Chance to put an end to all suspicions about Martin's involvement. With this clear evidence, Chance has no choice but to act. He decides to arrest Martin and take him to the Genoa City Police Department, GCPD. However, Martin's chance to escape again may not be easy. Although he can find a way to hide, with the help of his relatives and allies, Martin will not be able to escape the hands of justice. Phyllis and Sharon. Unexpected alliance in the face-off. A notable development in the upcoming episode is the inevitable cooperation between Phyllis Summers and Sharon Newman. These women have not always been on the same page, but in the current situation, when they are backed into a corner, they have no choice but to work together. This cooperation is not only due to the situation but also due to the need to confront Martin, who has caused so much damage to both of them. Sharon and Phyllis will receive news of Martin's capture. While they may disagree on many things, the truth is that they can't help but work together when Martin is cornered. They both know that when faced with their captor, they can only rely on each other to achieve fairness and justice. What's interesting here is that Phyllis and Sharon will not only discuss how to deal with Martin, but also predict how they will work together. Will they be able to continue working together in this tense situation? The exchanges between Sharon and Phyllis will be tense but also fascinating, as they plan their final confrontation. Summer Newman and Phyllis's curiosity. While Phyllis and Sharon work together to deal with Martin, Summer Newman faces an equally tense conversation. Phyllis, being the decisive one she is, doesn't hesitate to ask Summer if she's playing a game with Kyle Abbott. It's a delicate question, as Summer can't help but notice that her relationship with Kyle has changed a lot lately. Summer, while trying to stay calm, denies Phyllis's suspicions, insisting that there's nothing going on between her and Kyle other than friendship. However, Phyllis doesn't quite believe her answer. Although Summer tries to keep it a secret, Phyllis, with her experience, can sense that something is wrong. This is one of those situations that creates tension and adds complexity to the relationships between the characters. Martin Lauron. Deception and cornered. While Sharon and Phyllis are trying to work out their strained relationship, Martin Lauron will have to face the truth that can't be hidden anymore. Martin's deceptions are no longer working, and now, not only Phyllis and Sharon, but also Chance, Tracy, Ashley, and Jack are cornering him to the point of no return. When Tracy learns the truth about Martin and Alan, she decides to confront her fiancé. Tracy feels betrayed and hurt, and she can no longer keep quiet. Martin, no matter how strange his explanation, cannot avoid confronting Tracy. She will demand that he admit his true identity if he ever truly cared about her. Martin, with confusion and guilt, may confess that he took over Alan's life and flirted with Tracy. However, will Tracy be able to forgive Martin and continue this relationship? This will be an emotional moment as Tracy is forced to face the painful truth about the man she once loved. The final arrest. With all the important characters gathered, Martin Lauron will not be able to escape punishment. The police will come and Chance will arrest Martin. Although Martin tries to escape once again, with the help of Tracy, Ashley, and Jack, he will not be able to escape the siege. In the end, Martin will have to pay for his actions. Martin Lawrence's story on The Young and the Restless is coming to an end. Secrets, no matter how long they are hidden, will eventually be exposed. Tracy, Sharon, Phyllis, and Chance are the ones who will lead the story to a reasonable ending, when justice is finally served. The tense confrontations, unexpected cooperation between Sharon and Phyllis, and exposed truths will make the audience unable to take their eyes off the screen in the upcoming episodes. Martin Lauron, despite his ability to go into hiding once again, will not be able to escape the consequences of his actions. This story will bring the audience thrilling and emotional moments, as justice will finally be served.